Hey, welcome. My name is Daniel, and this is Metal Sharpens Metal, the place where we analyze heavy music from a Christian worldview. Today, we are going to check out just one of the most famous, iconic metalcore bands of all time, As I Lay Dying. It is their song, My Own Grave. There is a storied history to the song, to the band. We'll talk about that. But yeah, just taken as a metalcore song, I think you're going to like this one. If you like metalcore, again, why would you be here if you didn't? I think I know my audience. So you're going to like this song, and you probably have heard it too already, and you probably know some of the history. But that is okay. I think we can still enjoy it together. All right, let's check it out. All right. Nice chords, classic As I Lay Dying. All right, here we go. Just so fast, angry, classic. Love it. Man, I love Jordan's drumming. Love the backup vocals. I just love it. Man, they had some pretty high singing parts. It's great. Man, Tim just looks so huge. Man, I've heard that when Jordan plays live, he is just like, he's just a robot. He practices, he's meticulous. Yeah, he's got the feet, he's got the hands. He's just, he looks like he came out of the mines of Moria. And instead of finding the Arkenstone, it was the drumming stone. All right. Always a tasteful solo. We'll call back to the intro. Lo-fi vocals. All right, pick it up a little bit. Man, Tim just punches that air. Like, if he hits an atom wrong, he's gonna cause a nuclear explosion. Boom. Man, this band brings me back. I think, so it was not the first screaming band that I heard by any means, but they were the first like metalcore band, like classic metalcore when they were defining the scene back in 2004. I had started with like Under Oath, expanding out to Emery, Seosin, even Little Norma Jean, Hopes Fall, Beloved, some of those bands. But As I Lay Dying was the first one that I heard that I was just like, oh wow, that is different. Like the melodies, the heaviness, the speed, all just coming together for a perfect mix of what I wanted in metal. So I was hooked ever since their album Shadows Are Security came out in, I think it was 2004. It just made me want to man up, be strong and agile, do my tasks and my responsibilities well, and just generally enjoy life. Maybe I did hear them before Shadows Are Security, or I went back to some of their old stuff when I first heard that album. But the drums on 94 Hours, if you know the double bass at the end, like just machine gun, so clean. It was awesome. Now, I've had friends since tell me that, okay, they were triggered drums. It was probably snapped to the grid in the recording studio and all this stuff. But I don't care. I ate it up. I wanted to be like Jordan Mancino. That's their drummer in this song, by the way. His name was one of the passwords that I used back on my computer. Might have to go change something really quick. I remember this one time I was at a friend's house. It was summertime. We're just hanging out outside. I think somebody like was playing the album Shadows Are Security in their car with the car doors open. Through Struggle was on. The ending breakdown came on. For any of you who experienced that for the first time, you probably remember it as long as you're still here with us because your head didn't explode fully. It just hit. Like, it was a banger of a song, and then to end with a breakdown like that one. Yeah, it made my little heart happy. I was considering ripping off the door of the car and just yeeting it up into space like Captain America with his shield, but I settled for sprinting around like Gollum in the driveway and being a general weirdo, and that was fun for me. And yeah, so this song, like, clearly it's just a banger. It's kind of got like a pop structure with like intro, verse, chorus, all that stuff. There's a lot of structure that is recognizable, I think, to the common listener. So this song was very popular. Let's see here. We've got 27 million views on that from 5 or 6 years ago. That is wild. Okay, but now it is time to talk about the roided out Ahnold in the room. And I'm not talking about Austrian Death Machine, but but sorry, that was kind of a mean joke. Look, Tim, if you are listening to this, I have no ill will against you. And that's not just because you could beat me at bench press or pummel me into the earth, but it's because I do hope that the Lord does finish a work in you, that he would change your heart fully, that it would be a life-changing, true forgiveness and salvation. That's my prayer for you. Now, for the rest of you who might have no idea what's going on, their lead vocalist is Tim Lambesis, and he is a monster on the ones and twos. He's got crazy vocals. Like, it may not sound super unique to people who don't listen to metal and don't hear all these different bands. It's like, oh yeah, this guy's screaming his head off. But it's very noticeable for people in the industry. He's done a lot of mixing and producing, I think, of different bands as well. So he's kind of got like a sound that comes with him, not just in the vocal space, but everything else surrounding him. But yeah, monster vocals, very skilled with all that. He writes all the lyrics. He does write some of the guitar riffs, from what I understand. So yeah, he's a great musician for sure. Now, years ago, he was married to a woman. He actually hired a hitman to kill her. I know it sounds like a weird novel. It sounds hard to believe if you haven't heard that before, but it's true. Now, that hitman turned out to be an undercover cop. So
right to jail, right away.
Tim went to jail, spent 4 or 5 years there, I think.
And I never got caught neither.
Well, you're in prison, but...
Fast forward to the end of that, he came out. He reconciled for the most part with the members, and then they put out this song. And then they actually put out a full-length album the year following that as well. So pretty wild stuff overall. And I mean, if you're familiar with this story, I'm sure you've already got an opinion. If you're not familiar with it, you may have formed one very quickly, because that is a not great thing to do, right? But yeah, with that background in mind, let's go check out the lyrics here. So again, we'll talk about this a little bit more, but he came out wanting to reconcile with people, wanting to fix relationships and be repentant is what it looked like. So he's referring to all of this in the negative light that it seems to deserve. He says, the lies, the weight, deceit, decay, it's clear I lost my way. So he's not whitewashing this sin at all. There were lies, there was deceit on his part. And he lost his way. He's not blaming anyone else. He even says down here, so I know that there is no one else to blame. In this first verse here, I thought, this is a crazy line. I thought I was an architect, but I was just moving dirt. And man, if you can't feel the just like Sisyphus kind of pointless day after day, grind that evokes, then I don't know what to say. But yeah, it's a very interesting thing. You think you're building, you think you're doing things, but you're just moving dirt around. It's pointless work. And he's stacking mud over malice, covered up. So he's covering up his sins with mud, with unclean things, and he makes nothing but a pile of hurt. And then he refers to himself digging, like in the title. He's just digging this hole deeper.
Dude, seriously, I love you, but stop digging that weird hole in the backyard.
And he's, getting away from everyone, and no one heard him even fall, apparently until it was too late. Buried alive inside of my own grave. There's no one else to blame. So he's taking responsibility, at least verbally, right? He is buried in a grave. There's a body of death surrounding him, and he's in trouble, right? So yeah, he's beneath lies. He's delusional, thinking he designed something great. Again, back to the architect metaphor. And then he has a giant headstone inscribed with his shameful fate. But yeah, he eventually was finally forced to face what he had become. So I'm sure that's when he made some of these mental realizations in prison that we will talk about. Now he refers to it as pride crushing me, lies collapsing. That's what happens to lies, right? As you lie, you try to make more lies to cover up the old ones. You make this rickety scaffolding, and then eventually it'll all crash down. They'll find out all the way back to the very first lie, like all of this was fake, right? And it stems from pride. I think it was maybe C.S. Lewis who said that pride was the source of all sin. It could have been Spurgeon too, but basically, if you think about it, every sin starts in the heart, and pride says that our heart should be trusted. We are smart. We are good people overall. We should be doing the things that we want to do. So pride is really at the root of so many sins. Now, as far as I remember back to when I first discovered them, and again, reading in the CD liner notes that they said, thank you, God, thank you, Jesus, things like that. Tim has always called himself a Christian, as far as I can tell. He's always put positive Christian messages in the lyrics, talking about like the song Through Struggle, right? Like pushing through struggle with hope of something else. And he said, I think in some interviews, that he was in a dark place spiritually and mentally when he was considering killing his wife. But I guess that changed when he was in prison. He actually started studying a lot more about the Bible. He was reading Christian apologists, from what I heard, and just generally trying to find his faith again, trying to get back to what started the band in his eyes. And he did seem repentant. Like, he seemed genuinely sorry. He was not trying to shift blame. He was not trying to say it's not that big a deal, nothing like that. He was saying that he wanted to reconcile with the band, get together with those bandmates. I don't know the history about reconciling with his ex-wife. Like, that was, obviously not supposed to be in the public eye. Not every single thing is. And so I watched from a distance. Maybe some more kind of concerning things came up, some less than convincing things. Now, I'm not going to say that he's not a Christian or that he is. That's not the point of this video at all. And that's not the point that Christians are supposed to ever have with other people. Even though Jesus does tell us to judge people by their fruit and to discern who needs to be disciplined in a church and things like that, that does not mean that we get to say, you are saved, you are going to hell, anything like that. We watch it day by day, and we take people at their word until their actions or their words prove otherwise, right? So even just today, I saw this great article that had this point being laid out. It was basically saying there are two types of people. There's when somebody famous converts, right? The first group is saying, yes, this is amazing. He's on our side. He's going to be our new spokesperson. Take that, atheist. Now God is real because of this. The other side says, well, this is probably fake. I'll look down my nose at you a little bit, whatever. This guy still kind of sucks. And they're not really happy that there could be a new soul in the kingdom.
Arrogance.
And they just generally say it kind of smudgely,
I think you mean smug.
And there's our smudgeness.
So I don't want to be on either of those sides. I don't want to go with the first side, just blindly accepting every claim of Christ, because we've seen those people revert back to their past lives and discredit Christ. I would rather patiently watch and pray for this person, and hope that this is a real conversion. Because yes, it would be absolutely incredible for somebody famous to come to Christ, but it would also be devastating to have somebody with such a bright light and magnifying glass on them to fall away after claiming Christ, just like the seeds that fall on the rocky soil that Jesus describes in his parable. It springs up with new life really quick, and then when the sun comes, it just burns up. Because unfortunately, this seems to be happening with Kanye right now. He is going into a line of business that I don't even want to say on the channel, because I don't want to besmirch my name or anything like that.
Stagger your sin, people.
It seems to indicate that it wasn't a true heart change when he put out an album that said Jesus is King, right? But yeah, it's like, oh, man, it's such a bummer because, you know, it seemed like he came out swinging. There was a lot of really good fruit. And I know that more has happened besides just that bad business idea, but you really want this to be true, right? Like one of the biggest rappers, biggest musicians in history is now a Christian. Like that would be absolutely incredible. It's not my intention to condemn or acquit Tim of what he did and say that like all is forgiven or no, we'll never forgive you, we hate you. None of that. We need to take things day by day because again, if he is saved by Jesus, that means that Jesus paid the penalty for that sin that Tim committed. And we should hope that we can be so blessed to have Jesus actually give us forgiveness for the sins we've committed. Not everybody's tried to kill their wife. Not everybody has gone that far and been such a big public figure, but we have all hated people in our hearts. Jesus says that is murder. He says that lusting after a woman is like adultery. So we can't think that just because we didn't hire a hitman, that means that we're all good. No, our hearts are full of dead men's bones and wicked things, and we should not listen to our hearts unless it is the Holy Spirit talking to our heart. All right, well, that got a little bit heavy. Like I said, I pray that Tim would be reconciled to the God of all creation. Yeah, I mean, it would be a beautiful thing to see. If you are a Christian, I think you can resonate with that belief. If you stuck through this video with me, thank you. I appreciate it. I'd be interested to hear any of your thoughts about this in the comments. And maybe you wish you didn't stick with me that whole time, but I appreciate you being here too. And hopefully you at least enjoyed the song. And I hope to see you in the next one. Bye. Hey, welcome. This is Metal Sharpens Metal. My name is Daniel. I'm just going to talk really fast to see if this can kind of keep up with me, and I'm just going to do some stuff. Wow, that looks really creepy. Okay, I don't know. That's probably fine. Okay, we're back. We're so back.